Today, I'm going to share how you can create an extraordinary, fulfilling life that is no longer dependent upon anything external, which in my opinion is the most powerful way to be. We have this big audacious goal, we go for it, we start creating, we start to gain a little momentum, but we put in a whole lot of work and we don't see the external results. So what do? We get discouraged, or inner critic or inner judge gets really loud, or people tell you there's no way you're going to be able to do it. And so you listen and you start to fall off the path of achieving those big goals. Now, what if you could live in a way where you were fulfilled along the way, where you were no longer giving all of your power to external circumstances, but you could stay committed to internally that vision and that pull of what you are creating and continue to push past and create it. So by starting to apply some of these principles and lessons to your life, you'll be able to do just that. This is your invitation to become the alchemist of your life. You decode your heaven on earth and go through the alchemical process. The alchemist is a master of himself so that he can master life. People thought alchemists were turning lead into gold, but they're really crystallizing their soul into form. Alchemize your golden potential. Welcome to the Golden Life. Welcome to the Golden Life. My name's David Gilbert, and I am your alchemical guide to help you transform your inner and outer world for the better. Today's topic is near and dear to my heart, as well as what's the point of transforming your external world if you don't feel fulfilled while you do it. So today I'm going to share some of the most profound experiences I've had and the lessons I gained from those, more about the lessons, and how you can create an extraordinary, fulfilling life that is no longer dependent upon anything external, which in my opinion is the most powerful way to be, and why I love exploring becoming the alchemist, because you get to explore the more powerful ways to be. And one of the biggest obstacles to achieving goals, and I see this with high performers all the time, is letting matter matter. And what do I mean by this? Well, this is getting pulled by external results or circumstances, right? Because what happens? We have this big audacious goal, we go for it, we start creating, we start to gain a little momentum, but we put in a whole lot of work and we don't see the external results. So what do? We get discouraged, or inner critic or inner judge gets really loud, or people tell you there's no way you're going to be able to do it. And so you listen and you start to fall off the path of achieving those big goals. Now, what if you could live in a way where you were fulfilled along the way, where you were no longer giving all of your power to external circumstances, but you could stay committed to internally that vision and that pull of what you are creating and continue to push past and create it. So by starting to apply some of these principles and lessons to your life, you'll be able to do just that. But this also brings up a key distinction, that achievement and fulfillment are not the same things. Because if you unconsciously live into the BS of society, the belief systems, it's going to sell you on this idea that if you achieve all the things, then you will have the happiness. And we've all heard the stories of how that is not true, right? The people who make all the money, get all the success, have everything on paper that it looks like to have achieved everything, yet are still not happy. And I know when I lost my father at the age of 11, I can see how it completely shifted my trajectory to lead me to where I am today, talking about these things that I am today. And one of the big reasons why is I started asking the question of what makes life worth living. And that's why I'm going to share my lessons, because I believe it's creating a fulfilling life. And really, the golden life at the end of the day is a large part about living your extraordinarily fulfilling life. So if there's one thing that you just ingrained into you after this episode, it would be this: extraordinary fulfillment is created internally, not by filling it with external things. Now, how do we go about creating extraordinary fulfillment that's created internally? Well, you have to build your foundation. And I've distilled it down to the 4 pillars of legacy, impact, freedom, and energy. Because if you really start to focus on these 4 pillars and cultivate and refine and evolve, you will end up in a life that is no longer dictated by external circumstances that pull how you feel about yourself, that change how you feel about your life and how fulfilling it is and the positive energy that it brings you. And why is this? Well, let's jump right in. Number 1, energy. Energy is the currency of the universe. The universe is energy, and we're all exchanging energy all the time, and we need energy to keep our physical bodies alive. Therefore, it really is the bottom foundation, just like I have here on the golden L.I.F.E journal. It really is the bottom to everything in your life. So we can start to become aware of this and start to focus on the things that bring us positive energy. And it's as simple as having a practice of knowing thyself by always asking yourself, does this activity energize me or drain me? Because if you're going to live your truly extraordinary, fulfilling life, well, that's to say you're going to live in a way that is also known as your zone of genius, where you just do the things that are your natural, your unique gifts, and you just get to express that into the world. And as you do that, you drop into flow. You're just so engaged with life that it brings you positive energy to do those things. So this is a long story short of what are the things you love to do just for the sake of doing them. But we can also look at this lens in all different areas of who are those people that bring you positive energy? What are those things you can go learn about that bring you positive energy? As well as who are those people, situations, or even your own ideas or belief systems that drain you of energy. And once you bring those to awareness, you can start the process of eliminating, transmuting, or just releasing those belief systems or those people, or creating space. At least we don't always have to completely cut people out of our lives. But this also brings up one more thing when it comes to energy. And that is, if you're really going to start the alchemical journey, one of the most important places to start is with your physical body, because our physiology is so important to our well-being as well, right? If you want to make real transformation in your life, then taking care of your physical body is going to give it what it needs, because when it comes to day-to-day moments, so much of our emotions are tied to how our physical body is doing. So if you really are like, yeah, I'm ready to become the alchemist, I'm ready to evolve into my full potential and embody my soul and my spirit potential, well, it all comes back to your body first. Same for if you want a fulfilling life. Health is one of the greatest wealth. So by taking care of your physical body, you build that solid foundation for everything else to stack upon. So come back to energy for that extraordinary, fulfilling life. Now, freedom. This is a whole rabbit hole, a whole masterclass in of itself. So I don't have the time today to cover everything. But what are we talking about? If fulfillment is really an internal game, then we're really talking about internal freedom. And how do you cultivate internal freedom? Well, the first step is to make the unconscious conscious. What do I mean by that? It's what I've shared in past episodes, right? We have our unconscious belief systems. Your belief systems determine your behaviors, and your behaviors determine your life. So this is why we want to go through the process of learning to be courageous enough to step to the black dragon of spiritual alchemy, which is really to say the unconscious force that lives within ourselves, that lives within the universe. And we can start to bring this to our conscious awareness. So this is to say, if you've never spent time uncovering your belief systems, you are living out somebody else's belief systems. And this also ties in the lead of your past, right? If you have a painful past experience that isn't fully integrated into yourself, well, then it's like having this chain with a big piece of lead on the back that's dragging you in the moment. It's stealing your presence, and it's causing you to live in a way to try to avoid more of that pain in the future, which may be causing unnecessary suffering, which is most likely keeping you in a mental prison that you're completely unaware of. So by dissolving that lead, you start to gain the internal freedom to allow your true light to shine. And if you haven't listened to episode number 1, I highly recommend that you go do that, because this in its essence is what the alchemist, becoming the alchemist, is all about. It's about walking the path to dissolve all of your lead, all of your limiting belief systems and past wounds, mental and emotional wounds, so that you can truly start to embody your divine essence and allow that to shine fully without anything dimming it, without any internal lead blocking it. And then you can just live as your authentic self. And I could just stop there, because what would be more fulfilling than just being a being completely full of love, self-love, acceptance, authenticity, and is able to just express themselves with no worries about the external factors or matter. But moving on to impact. And if you're in a depressed state, one of the greatest ways to start to build momentum to get out of that deep depression is to go help others. We tend to make things more complicated. I've also been in that severely depressed state, questioning if life is even worth living. And if I were to go back in time and give that person more advice, I'd say, hey, get off your ass and go do more to help others. I remember doing some things, and even like little things of like taking your dog for an extra walk. Like that was one of the things I'd do, or drop off food at the food kitchen. But spend more time. If you're spending more time being depressed, then spend more time serving others. And this also goes for if you want to live a fulfilling life, well, then it's really saying, how can I be of service? How can I benefit the all? Because then you start to seek to create harmony within your family, within your community, within your planet, with nature, with the planet itself. And as you do that, you're going to be rewarded with more happiness, more fulfillment. Now, if you are a leader or entrepreneur, same applies. If you want to create more money, same applies. You think about, how can I create more impact? How can I provide more value to others? And the more that you can expand your thinking and look for ways to do that and find that perfect solution that everybody has the problem to, well, that's how you make more money as well. So not only is your happiness, but your ability to provide value and then receive value, aka money, lies in your ability to make an impact on others. And I also want to drive home this idea that we don't always have to look to change the entire world and make a lot of money to also have a massive impact. Actually, quite the opposite can create more of an impact. And one day this book just kind of showed up at my front door. It's called Holy Moments, written by Matthew Kelly. And it talks about this idea of creating little moments, everyday moments, where you just go out and you look for opportunities to create beauty and goodness. Something as simple as going to the supermarket and giving an extra compliment, or walking down the street with the biggest smile on your face and giving a warm welcome to somebody else, or maybe leaving a nice letter, or having fun and finding creative ways to consciously create a holy, or I just like to call it golden, a golden moment, a moment of beauty, a moment of goodness, or a moment of truth for others. And we don't have to overthink it. One of the things I love about my wife is that she is so good at this. She is so good at looking for the ordinary ways to make an extraordinary impact on others, just by giving them that little compliment, just by giving some extra leftovers to somebody on the street, or handing out sweaters during winter. So what are those ways you can get outside of yourself, you can get outside of your shitty mood, and you can go be of service? And don't make it too complicated either, right? If you really don't like people and you're crazy extroverted, well, then go grab that trash bag like the sacred space practice and go pick up some trash for Mother Earth. There are endless possibilities to make an impact today. And then this leads to the last pillar of extraordinary fulfillment, and that is legacy. Legacy is something we typically think that I'll leave my legacy someday, but your legacy is created today. And I touched on this in the last episode, the 11 reasons to become the modern day alchemist. The only thing you can transform is yourself, and it's really all about who you are becoming. And we sometimes get caught up in this vision of, that inner king, who we can embody in the future, and think this is just some conceptual idea that's so far in the future that it's nowhere close to who we are now. Well, the only moment we have is the present moment. So you can collapse this into the present moment and start living that version of you right now. And don't worry, I have some practical exercises in the Golden Life library that I'll share how to go through this process. But it really is big picture view of creating that vision of who it is, and then creating a simple list of how that person would show up on a daily basis. And then you do that, and you can create a simple checklist, and you can start living into your legacy today. Because we all don't really want to acknowledge we're going to die one day, and that our family is going to be there for our funeral and look at our gravestone. And if we unconsciously go through life, which the Alchemist is about taking ownership and responsibility to consciously navigate life, well, if we unconsciously go through life, then our obituary is subject to the opinions of others. But if you take a little bit of time to create that clear vision of who you're becoming, and then distill down those little daily practices that you can implement immediately, well, you take ownership of your legacy. And then you start to truly live that now, and you truly start to transform yourself, and you truly start to become the alchemist of your life. Now, lastly, I just have to share, the irony is, if you truly walk the alchemical path, your legacy will serve you to be that thing to pull you for so long, who you're becoming. But then there'll become a phase where it is no longer your main focus. And just like the acronym BC or AD, when it comes to walking the alchemical path to become your golden self, aka your christened self, your legacy transforms to simply being and creating love. So in essence, that is the true path of the alchemical journey, crystallizing as a being that is simply here to expand the infinite love of the cosmos, and to do that while enjoying themselves. And I throw on my own spin with the golden life of creating as much gold along the way. So if you're looking for more practical tools of how to go through expanding, refining, having practices to build on energy, to build on internal freedom, to build on impact and legacy, well, visit the Golden Life Library. All you have to do is go to www.goldenlife.com and you'll see the place to sign up for the Golden Life Library. And there I have the Golden L.I.F.E blueprint, the foundational exercises that if you apply to your life and you constantly refine, you will end up in a life where you are so full, it doesn't matter what's happening externally because you have cultivated extraordinary energy, extraordinary freedom, extraordinary impact, and you are living your legacy on a daily basis. So thank you for joining this journey today, and I'm excited for you to step into your extraordinary golden life.